If you're here looking for a budget sword list, you're in the right place. But if you're also looking for a deck that can win the chest events fast, then you're also in the right place. Today we're going to be taking a look at not just budget, but also base sword. This deck requires just one type of legendary and 3 types of golds, and it's pretty easy to build, and a lot of the stuff you're going to craft is going to be usable in the full competitive build for sword, and probably going to be used for a very long time, even when future sets come out. The deck we're introducing today was first introduced by Spices from the team DFM, one of Shadowverse pro players in Japan, and he basically introduced it as a fast way to clear the chest events that we have in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, where you have to do ranked and you get chests at random, where he said he basically finished all 5 chests in an hour and 20 minutes using this deck, and so we're going to introduce it today. The deck looks like this, basically only using Albert as the legendary. Albert is a 5-cost 3/5 that has the Storm keyword, which allows the follower to attack the turn that is played, even to your opponent's face. But if you play him for 9 play points, he'll deal 3 damage to all of your enemy followers, and he'll also be able to attack 2 times that turn. That means that just attacking to the face 2 times will deal 6 damage, but if you super evolve him, that can go up to 12 damage in 1 turn. In order to make sure that damage sticks to the face and wins us the game, we're playing a bit more of an aggressive lineup here than regular mid-range sword. You have Flash Step Quick Blader, which is a 1-cost 1/1 with Storm, so you can attack the turn he's played even if you go first, which is very nice. We are running Filled Out for removal, especially for removing those pesky wards that stop us from swinging at their face. If you evolve him, he destroys an enemy follower, which is very good. Royal Coachwoman is a 2-cost 1/2 that if she gets destroyed, she pops her last words effect to summon a Knight token, which is a 1/1. So it doesn't do too much, but it is pretty useful because we can combine it with the Ian Lovebound Knight. He's a 3-cost 2/2 with Ward, which means that you do have to attack into him before you attack anything else. But when he's played, he triggers his Fanfare effect that lets you choose another follower in your field and give it +1/+1. This, of course, works well with both Quick Blader, but also if Coachwoman gets destroyed, she summons a Knight, and then if that remains until your next turn, you can summon the Ian to buff that and swing with it as well. Of course, the usual suspects for sword are here as well. The Ignominious Samurai is, of course, a 2/1 with Rush for 2 costs, that if you've unlocked Super Evolution, then it also gets Bane. Very good for taking out big opposing followers, especially on turn 10. You can combine it with Centaur Centurion, which is an 8-cost 7/5 with Storm, so on 10 play points, you can play this and the Bane, take out a ward, then swing 7 to face, or 10 if you can super evolve this. Luminous Lance Trooper, of course, 2/1/2 that summons a Knight, and whenever an officer enters the field, it also gives it Rush, which means it can attack into your opponent's followers the turn that they are played. Shinobi Squirrel is also an interesting addition here, being a 2-cost 2/1 that has Ambush, which means that it cannot be targeted or attacked into until it attacks itself. And if you evolve it, summons another one, so that means you're going to have a 4/3 and a 2/1, so a total of 6 damage sitting in the shadows, which can be pretty good of just blowing up onto your opponent. Hound of War is very important in this build because of 3-cost 4/2 with Rush, but if you play it on 6, you summon 3 copies of this. So it's really good for taking care of your opponent's boards as well. Speaking of which, Vals on Fanfare destroys, or not destroys, but deals 5 damage to enemy follower, and also if you play him on 6, he'll become a 4/3 and gain Ambush 2. So Ambush can be very much abused in this deck too, especially against decks like, you know, that want to be selecting things and destroying them. Speaking of which, Nightly Rending, again, just to pop wards and whatnot. And in case you're having trouble with wards, Vigilant Detective will allow you to, on last words, get a Detective's Lens to your hand, which is an amulet that you can just put down onto your field and then engage it to destroy it, and then choose an enemy follower that has ward and remove the ward from it. So on like turn 8, you can put this down, and then on turn 9, you'll then play the Albert and then trigger that to remove the ward, then Albert can swing to face. And then of course, the staple Zirconia on Evolve summons 2 Knights and gives everything else on your field +1/+1. Very good for just building tempo if you have a good aggressive start. Optimally speaking, in the Mulligan, we really want to prioritize curve, so 1 drop, 2 drop of any sort, and then 3 drop. Most of the deck is basically that. It is important to connect to the Albert and the Centaur Centurion to finish the game, but the Albert can also be a pretty good attacker in the earlier turns too. With all that being said, here is the QR code if you want to copy this build for yourself. We have one more legendary this time compared to the artifact one, because I do feel like Albert is a really good investment too. So I do recommend that you do craft your 3, just because it's going to be used in a lot of different sword decks in the future too. And of course, before we get into our games, if you enjoy this content, please do subscribe to the channel. It's been doing really well. I appreciate everyone for your great support. I've got lots of more of these deck features coming, as well as other general tips for gameplay as well. So if you enjoy the content, give it a like and do subscribe. Without any further ado, let's get into some games. Look at my Dryton with a phone of herself on it. She's gaming. Look at her gaming. All right, let's go. We have a game in the future. It's going to be against Puppets. We want to finish this one fast. Puppets, I mean, it might be Artifact as well. Puppet's been really popular lately though. So, I mean, I don't know what to say in terms of expectations for this deck in terms of performance. We don't need Centaur Centurion. Shinobi Squirrel can be good, and because we're going second, we can play point boost immediately. And then basically just like Shinobi Squirrel, Samurai, Ian is not too bad. I think just the Shinobi Squirrel on its own is kind of enough though. We can see what else we draw into. Detective will be good down the line as well. So we really just want to be super aggressive with this build and see where it will take us. We can kind of play the Field Owl on turn 2 here, I think, or turn 1, and then Shinobi Squirrel on turn 2. Buff it up with the Ian the next turn. That way it evades getting destroyed, which is pretty good. Puppet Lancer comes in. They don't have a regular puppet to swing into with this. That's also good. Shinobi Squirrel can come down, and honestly, we just go face. Generally speaking, this deck is going to be very aggressive. It doesn't have the sustain or the mid-range capabilities to not go aggressive. So what helps is that some stuff like Ian does have ward. So this will help to sort of like tank a few of the hits along the way, which is also pretty good. And as you can see, opponent's already on 15. Pretty good start so far. And now next turn, we can basically Valse whatever big targets they put down. If they don't take down our Squirrel, which, okay, they just did. But if they hadn't, then they had to burn a Divine Thunder on a Squirrel. That also feels pretty good. So I'm definitely not complaining. Zirconia at the top, that's exactly what we needed. Very nice. Now we can just pass on the big board. So this is also pretty good tempo for us because they now will have to really make, you know, commit and evolve, just take out the 6/6. And then next turn, we have things like we can Vigilant Detective, even like, you just pass on that. Or, because I do want to keep the Hound for turn 6, if possible. All right, they're going to Bellringer pass. Wow, okay. That's very different from what I expected. We can put in at least 10 damage this turn. I want to go a little bit further than that, though, not going to lie. I guess just Valse to take this out is fine. And then I'm thinking what else I want to do this turn. I mean, Luminous Landstripper doesn't really do too much at this point. So it doesn't feel too worth. Hound of War I really want to keep for next turn. So I guess we can just Valse here and just hold on to the rest. I do think this deck wants to be a bit more aggressive with its evolve commits in general. So we're going to do 12 damage here. They're already down to 3. I feel like just putting down bodies is kind of worth it because the more they can't take out, the better for us. So even the Luminous Landstripper, I'm kind of tempted to put down here, but we don't have... If we could like top deck Albert or something next turn, that'd be super sick. Because next turn we're just playing Hound of War, so I think it is kind of worth to do this. Either we top deck Albert and just go face, or we Hound of War and just like deal with their board. Because since it looks like it is Puppet, it doesn't look like they're going to have huge answers to this board. And it's also really nice. I mean, this is only turn 5 and we're already producing such boards. Like, even for Puppet, even if they make Noah now and make 3 puppets, they can swing. It's like Puppet, 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 Noah into this, and then there's still 3 damage on the board. So it's a pretty tough place. Sylvia could heal them back 4. They go up to 7. They don't have Super Evolve though, so they can only pop like 1 thing and then attack into another thing. So they leave me on 7 here. We can Super Evolve this for 5, and then that's 8 damage here as well. So they need a puppet somewhere. And I think, yeah, they had an enhanced puppet they generated. They don't have any other puppets in this hand. So we might just be walking away with a win here. Let's see if you have anything else. I don't think they do. Yep, that is going to be just a pass on my opponent's side. We even top deck the Albert, but we don't even need it. We literally have the damage on board. And that's how this deck wins. Literally just go aggro, go fast from the very beginning, and run it down. That is pretty strong. Also, you see this? This ain't no ruby, this ain't no sapphire, this is diamond that we're winning with this budget swordless then. All right, let's go for another one. This time in the village, the lovely village, against Portal again, going first this time. So going second was very nice because we could immediately just start up with a 2 play point turn. Of course, we were definitely saved by our top decks in that last game, but I like the idea of just Shinobi Squirrel on turn 2 again. The Squirrel really does a lot of work, just because it can kind of like sit in the shadows and then get buffed. If we can see the Quick Blader, that'd be kind of sick. We don't, but actually it's not too bad of a hand either. Okay, Zirconia for turn 5 is also okay. So basically, we can Shinobi Squirrel, then Detective the next turn, because it's just good stat line, because it's 3/3. So let's take a look. Centaur Centurion. Okay, this game might go a bit longer than the last one. So the Squirrel gonna be doing work, of course. The Squirrel. Okay, it looks like puppets are so popular now. Of course, the hybrid is also like here and there sometimes, but well, I'm debating if it's worth to just swing with the Squirrel here. We don't have any like buffing or anything, so next time we're probably just gonna be valsing. So I might as well just swing. I don't think it's worth waiting on this. It's like they can commit their puppet to destroy this, but I don't really mind too much because that means they won't destroy my Vals then. I guess they will, but they're gonna UD. So that can also, I guess we could also Nightly Rending on this, but I think Vals, but Vals gets traded by Puppet, and we know that they have the puppets here. So Nightly Rending making a Steelclad Knight is a bit better on stats. So we want something that can stay on the board optimally. So, I mean, to be honest, they're evolving first, so probably nothing's going to stay on the board. So in that case, maybe it's okay if we just go a little bit softer and just keep the Rending in hand for really the big wards. We've already put them down to 15, which isn't too bad. I'm doubting that anything here will actually stay on the board. Like, they're likely to just evolve and trade both of these. So then we're going to just do Zirconia. Zirconia make a little board. Then next turn we can, like, Vals, I guess. Or just see what they come up with. But ultimately, we really want to be pushing the gas as much as possible. Ooh, it's going to be just a UD. I guess they're going to go for the UD Crest here. But they can just evolve trade and then they can use a puppet to run into the 2-1. So it's really easy to answer this board, unfortunately. Nothing too crazy here. Yep, there's a puppet. And I think they still have another one or two. I haven't been keeping track as much because they played one last turn, one this turn, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they played one into my puppet. So they had one from the puppet house at 2. Then they had 3, and then they had... Did they only have 3? Then maybe they are running out of puppets. Maybe they are then. Okay. Kind of debating here if I actually want to save the Zirconia for later. Just because Vals can pop this. I feel like going wide is good, but the problem is that we don't get a full clear, whereas Vals plus Samurai is a clear. And I feel like we do want to optimize here and just go for the clear. So I think this is okay. Then next turn we can Zirconia and put down the lens. And then that way we can just kind of like have that threat of like, hey, I'm going to shut down one of your wards down the line. Optimally, want to probably just like chuck the super evolves at Centaur Centurion. So we're going to be able to do that in a couple more turns. But for the time being, turn 6 looks like Zirconia. Turn 7 likely Nightly Rending. And then see what else we draw into. But for the time being, we also have to keep in mind that the Detective Lens will have to target a Lloyd most likely, since we're against Puppet. So we want to produce some chip damage here and there, so that... Ooh, speaking of chip damage, hold up. Okay, the Lens can wait until next turn then. The Lens can wait until next turn. We're going to just Zirconia with the Luminous Lance Trooper. This is very, very good. I mean, this getting the buff to everything is just so significant. It also means that we have a 6/6 that's going to just stay healthy and chill. So it's also very significant because they wasted this. This is like, I've been playing puppets a little bit here and there. The Assassin's really important because it gives Bane to their puppets. So that gives you an outlet to taking care of your opponent's really tall followers. So, okay, they had a second one. So I kind of assumed so, but it seemed a bit sus because that's just like a very important source of Bane. All right, they have another enhanced puppet and another one. Okay, they're gonna commit all their puppets, which means that their Orcus turns output has been diminished somewhat, which is also nice. This turn, we could theoretically, I don't really want to evolve, like Albert evolve face. Albert evolve face Detective Lens. It doesn't sound as great as you think it does, but Rending evolve, like Rending Detective Lens feels a bit slow. I feel like I want to be doing damage all the time, and being able to put down the Detective Lens feels pretty good here. I just feel like there's not as much reason to super evolve it. I do wish I had a second Albert in hand. It would make things a bit easier. And the thing is, with Albert on turn 9, at least we have like the damage as well. This is coming down this turn no matter what. It's just more about if we commit this Albert or not. Because this will just have Bane too, right? But I feel like keeping it for... Nah, I think let's try to go a bit aggressive here. Alright, timer's running low, but we'll hit with the 5/7 and see how they respond. Putting them to 12 also gives the pressure that it's like, whoa, I'm gonna Albert you again. So let's see if they fall for that or not. And if they do, well, then that's also good. And then we see what we draw into next turn. So super evolve on the Centaur Centurion will give us 10 damage. Okay. They're not boosting play point to go into the Olivia, not the Orcus. They're doing Olivia instead. Okay, they're gonna Bane this. They're probably gonna Super Evolve. They're saving the Super Evolve. This is not the deck to save the Super Evolve against, baby. We are going ham, baby. We're going ham. I don't care about your freaking whatever your deck does. I'm trying to go face for 10. Go ahead. Color me surprised. I mean, this is actually a lot of damage. But this is all that our deck can do. This is literally the... Even if they go 7 and 5, that's 12. This is 14. We're technically not dead. Because then that means they're not committing the Super Evolve to Orcus. So, as long as we're not dead and there's only one ward in the field, we can still take care of it, which is the crazy part. Detective's Lens will literally just cover one ward. The problem lies in them having 2 wards. They do play the Orcus. Okay, they play down the Lloyd. Is that gonna just like swing into my 10-8? I wonder. I mean, okay, they're gonna swing. They're gonna clean up the board a little bit. They want the extra puppet on the board here. Okay, I'm really curious. They didn't Super Evolve the Olivia. That's the craziest part to me. Okay, they're just going aggressive and pass. Hold up. Remove the ward and swing for 7. It's peak. It's peak. This is the answer to puppets. It's actually wild. This aggro sword deck is actually working. It works. It works. It just works. It's crazy. All right, let's go into game 3. Man, that was another portal. I mean, I don't mind. I was sweating playing freaking Quan in ranked. Like, damn, I gotta sweat with the best deck. When the answer was in front of me this whole time, it was to Unga Bunga and just play sword. But this mulligan's kind of tough because we do have good curve, and there's not much to keep the extra play point for. But I feel like keeping the quick blader is also fine because we can just bash from the first turn immediately. I don't dislike this. Because like putting down Samurai, like we could play point boost and just put down the Samurai or like Lance Trooper. Oh, they have Elise. Then I guess I do want to put Lance Trooper down because that basically answers this. So like I wasn't sure if I should keep the quick blader or not. It's like going first 100%, going second not as much. Especially now like we answered that. Turn 2, yeah, Samurai will answer this while we can still produce some damage to the face, which is also quite good. So I guess we'll see where the quick blader is going to come through. For the time being is not as necessary. Because like mulliganing for the Zirconia is also pretty good. Like mid-range really just needs to mulligan for Zirconia, I think. Whereas this aggro deck I think really just wants curve and then just pray kind of draw into the rest. But we're going to see. I mean, oh, they play down the... They're so smart. You're so smart. Do they teach that at school? Do they know what I'm playing? I haven't given it away yet. This is just, I've played mid-range cards. You haven't seen my hand. You don't know this is aggro. What do you mean Fortify Artifact? No! My strategy, it's ruined. It's no longer peak. Well, you know what? We can evolve the Shinobi Squirrel next turn. So, I'm good actually. I'm good actually. I think this does trade 1-for-1. Put this down to a 4 so that like one of the squirrels can swing into this. Oh, you dare give me a detective's lens? Do you know what I did to your cousin with that detective's lens? Ended their entire career. Oh, Albert up the top's pretty good too. Yeah, I think here's gonna be a Squirrel Gaming. Squirrelgaming.com. Here we go. Shinobi Squirrel. What will it do? We make another one. Detective's Lens. It'd be funny to put it down. Just be like, I don't care about your fortifier, bro. The problem is that they probably are going to just wipe out my board anyway. So we're going to just put down this and then expect these 2 squirrels to just get freaking blasted into smithereens by the gamma. Poor squirrels, man. What did they do? What did the squirrels do to you, Alouette? Why must you do such terrible things to the squirrels? Why would you shoot 2 innocent squirrels with a laser? Why? It's so cruel. Oh my god, there come the booster funnels. It's happening. She's doing it. Oh, the squirrels died. What did they ever do to you? The squirrels did nothing wrong. I swear. Oh well, at least we top deck Zirconia. A tale as old as time. It's just another day in the office. Yeah, here we have no choice but to trade here. And we have no choice but to go face, because if this deck doesn't go face, baby, I don't know what it does. We're gonna have to just go face and put those hands together, baby. Put them hands together. Alouette doesn't matter. Even if Alouette blows up my board, the board was never there to begin with. This is pain. Puppets, good matchup. Everything else, not so good. Not so much. Oh, come on, give me something. Give me something, dog. This really ain't it. I do not have the freedom to Albert face because my opponent has freaking 14 damage on board already. Very sad. I must say, I have to express my great sadness in this situation. Yeah. This is basically going to be Luminous Lance Trooper, Vigilant Detective, and what we call some good effort. I'm afraid we might have met our limits. We might have met our limits. Am I really defensive evolving here? Are you for real, dude? Yes, I'm afraid I am. I'm afraid this is a defensive evolve. And we're eating 8 damage on top of that. Absolutely fantastic. But it's okay. It's fine. We believe. Surely no third Alouette. They don't even need it. They can just like play 2. They can play 2 betas here from the spell and just kill me. That's the worst part. That is, uh-oh. Oh my god, is it happening? They're gonna play one of them? Oh my god, there's a resurgence. Okay, that's 1 instance of 3 damage. Uh-oh. Oh no, that's 4 damage now. Oh my god, she shot my thing. Go on my board. I'm on 3. This is so bad. This is terrible. Do we just go out in style? Just evolve Centaur, Centurion, face and die? There's nothing we can do. Even if we trade into this, it's like Albert doesn't have double attacks, so he can't do anything. And then they can just hard play this from hand next turn because our deck doesn't run any healing. Let's just go out in style. Super evolve, swing, face, pass. Unfortunately, this is the reality of the deck, is that like you will just get checked by things like artifact with relatively okay tempo, and that's just how it ends. So that's just how it is. But every game is fast. Every game is fast, so the climb is fast, and that's what matters most. And that has been Aggro Budget Sword. We actually managed to showcase, I think, virtually every single card in the deck. Unfortunately, it lives and dies by the blade. It is very fast, very aggressive, but that also means that you're either winning games very quickly and very aggressively, or you're losing them very quickly and very aggressively, which is why it's a good climbing deck in that sense if you want to just really get your games in fast and quick. One of the nice things about Worlds Beyond is that, you know, even if you lose, you still get rank points, so that's, you know, kind of a nice thing about this deck. But of course, I also made a full feature on mid-range Sword, which I think is the competitively best version of Sword. There's also Control Sword out and about as well, that if people want to see that, I could feature down the line too. Not the biggest fan of Control Sword, I always prefer mid-range overall though. But once again, this has been a pretty fun deck. Shout out to Spices for creating this one. Definitely good for rushing the Rupee event if you want to just like get that done nice and quick. Or not the Rupee one, but the chest one. If you like this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, if you want to see Sword in its full potential as mid-range Sword, check out this video right here. I did a feature on the deck with its full potential and like the cards you should pick up in order to upgrade it, so check that out. And of course, if you're a brand new player and just starting out, check out my beginner tips video, which will get you covered on everything you need to know about Worlds Beyond. With that, that's me for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.